Well, hey, my farmer friends. Happy weekend to all of you. This is Corinna from Shared Legacy Farms and from mydigitalfarmer.com. And today I am coming at you live from my farmhouse where I'm going to teach you the anatomy of a successful 3-week launch. So I know I'm tuning in a little bit earlier than I said that I would. I hope you're okay with that, just because my contractor is still working on the kitchen. I have a feeling he might show up, and I just want to try and get this done before he shows up. And so it's possible that he may arrive and interrupt this broadcast. And he's kind of a talker. He talks a lot. So hopefully I'll be able to make that transition quickly. So we're getting really close, and I hope that by tomorrow we might have our new kitchen in place. So again, today we're going to dive in. This is going to be probably a longer training. As I was putting my notes together, I thought to myself, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm giving away the farm on this one, because I'm going to go really, really deep and detailed into how a launch works. And I actually thought about making a paid course out of this material, and then I didn't, because I'm like, no, I feel like it's a little too early for that. But this is a really, really great session. So we're going to talk all about the anatomy of a successful launch. And if you guys tune in, I want you to feel free to share your questions down below in the comment section as we go through this, and I'll be tuning in periodically to see if you have anything you want to ask me. All right, so here we go. We're going to dive in. Welcome all of you guys to our training, Anatomy of a Successful 3-Week Launch. So what is a launch? Some of you guys who are new to our community may be wondering, what does that even mean? And this word is something that I heard in the online marketing space. In fact, if you were to go online and start, surfing around and trying to learn how to write great emails, for instance, or you want to learn what is a funnel, you'll kind of stumble upon these digital marketing courses and companies, and they lure you in with their email address, and then they eventually try to sell you some digital products or some trainings. And the way they go about doing that is using something called a launch promotion. So a launch is kind of when you set aside a set season in your year, in your calendar year, and it's usually in the digital online marketing space, it's usually 7 to 14 days. And they sell and promote a product hardcore for 7 to 14 days. And then that's it. And then the cart closes and the offer is gone, the bonuses are gone, everything's gone. And then there's just quiet for a while. And then maybe like 3 or 4 months later, when they have another product that they want to release, they do another launch. And they kind of tease you with the offer. They let you kind of know something cool is coming. And then they open the cart, they open the doors, and officially you can now jump in and buy it. And there's only a few there, and there's only so much time, and there's these bonuses if you do it today. And then they kind of tell you, oh, your time's running out, time's running out. And then boom, it's gone. So it's just this limited time offer kind of promotional campaign. So I first heard about this because I was studying online marketing from some of the greats like Amy Porterfield and Social Media Marketing World and Digital Marketer. And as I was listening to these podcasts, I thought, I wonder if this would work for a physical product, because I don't think it completely works. I have to adjust it a little bit, but there are some similarities. And so that's what started my journey into the online marketing space. I'm going to try to figure out how to put together a launch and use that formula in selling my CSA shares. And that is what got me such wild results last year to my CSA members. And then I did a launch kind of to warm traffic to my list and to cold traffic as well on Facebook, and got some really good results. And that's why I'm in a really strong position where I'm at right now. We're actually sold out, which is really awesome. And I know that it's CSA Day. It was CSA Day yesterday. So I know you guys are probably really starting to hit it hard and try to come up with some strategies, which is why I wanted to talk about this topic today. Because if you want to build a launch campaign, this is probably the next few weeks is the time to do that work and put that together and try it. So this is a book that you guys can do. Now, I don't know if this is showing up backwards on your screen because I have the different camera flip today, but this is Launch by Jeff Walker. And it is the secret formula that kind of walks through how launches work. I don't think it's that good. It's decent. Maybe get it from the library instead of buying it and see what you think. But it does kind of walk through the formula. I don't think it's particularly well written, but it has good content in it. So you also get a freebie today, which I'm basically giving you. It's called the Ultimate Copywriting Checklist for your 3-week launch. So you can get that at sharedlegacyfarms.com/launch copy. I'll put the link in the comments. I think you have, sometimes it doesn't pull up right. Like I have to put http://www.sharedlegacyfarms.com/launch copy. Like if I just type in www, it doesn't work sometimes. So I don't, but I'll put the link in so that it works later, okay? But anyway, this particular bonus that I'm giving you today is basically a checklist that kind of summarizes some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today and puts it all in one place to help you know these are the things, these are the assets that you need to get ready in order to put together this launch campaign, all right? Now, I used to sell my CSA all the time. Like I just had the sign-up page open. You know, as soon as the CSA was over, I let my members know you could buy. I did a little, tried to get them to sign up, but then it was just open all winter long and all through May. And I would just try to promote. I would, you know, send out flyers and and then Facebook ads came around. I would do like Facebook posts and I would tell people to share it. And then I had to kind of do ads. And that was sort of how I tried to sell the product at first. Until I learned about the launch. And then I said, well, let me try doing this serious, like 3-week promotion period where I go hardcore and slam it hard and I have an offer that expires at a certain time. So I do, just to be clear, I do still have the store open all the time, okay? Like I kept it open. People could come in January and find, you know, a basic offer there and click and sign up. And a lot of people did. But what I want to encourage you to try is, in addition to just having it open and doing whatever you're doing right now, I want to encourage you to try the launch strategy where you create in advance kind of a strategy, a plan where you're going to build this irresistible offer that's only going to be around for however long your launch is, 2 or 3 weeks, and you're going to promote the heck out of it for 2 or 3 weeks. It's going to be work, all right? It's going to be a little stressful those 2 or 3 weeks. And then just see what happens. See if that causes people to be backed against the wall and make a decision. All right? So this is a little bit of a ninja strategy, I'm going to be honest. And so if you're just beginning and you have like no one on your list, I don't recommend that you start with this yet. I think that there are other ways to try and get people to, get 10 people to start your CSA, right? But for those of you who have been working on this for a few years, maybe, and especially for people who have an email list of CSA leads or people they feel like are kind of leads, this would be something for you guys to try. And it does require a little bit of savvy. So again, if you just joined the group in the last week, you probably aren't going to be able to throw this together in the next week. But I still want you to watch it because there's going to be some really good stuff in here that you can kind of splinter out and pull little strategies out and just apply those within whatever you're doing right now. And I think you'll see some results, okay? Becca is asking, are there ways to conduct a launch both online and in the physical space? In the next few weeks, I'll be attending a bunch of CSA fairs and was planning on having promotions on the day of the event. I can't read the rest because I'm looking at my phone. So I'm going to share, let me think about that one, Becca. I'm going to share with you right now kind of the online strategy, and let's get to the end of this, and then I want you to see if you feel like this could be something that can also work physically, when you're present with someone, because I think that to some degree it can. Okay, so here we go. We'll dive in. Sorry, I had to find my place on my notes. So the goals of a launch, we need to be clear about this. When you're doing a launch, Obviously, the number one goal is you want to make the sale, right? You're trying to convert. You want those people who are sitting on the fence. Aren't there so many of them? Aren't you sick of it? Aren't you like, oh, they tell me they want to sign up and then they don't, and they just sit there and they sit there. Okay, the goal of a launch is to force the person to make the decision. All right, either yes or no. If it's no, that's fine, but just make a decision. And number two, the other goal of an online launch like this is to build your list, okay? Build your list, because I want you to keep this in mind as I go through the steps. The things you're going to be doing, you're not just talking, you are primarily talking to the people that are already on your list, that are kind of a warm audience, but you're also attracting people who are cold, who are like, never thought about that. And those people, to be honest, probably aren't going to buy your CSA this year. Okay, I want you to think about that. But there's still value in teaching them this content, you know, showing them your brand, giving them the offer, and it'll just start this little, you know, idea going around in their head. And then maybe next year they'll be warmed up because they'll be in your sphere of influence, they'll be on your email list, you'll be warming them up all season long. So there's still value to pulling in those people. But I feel like the primary target audience for me when I'm doing this launch are the people that are already on my CSA leads list, the people who are on my Facebook page, who are fans of me and have been following me for a while, who are warmed up to me. So keep that in mind, all right? Because I think that will help you set expectations. All right, the benefits of a launch system. So number one, I'm going to teach you how when you build your offer, you need to have urgency in the offer. And the fact that there's a deadline, there are things that disappear at the end of the offer, is what causes a person to sign up, to actually make the decision. So that is something that's missing when you just have an open-ended, you know, store. It's like sign up sometime before June, right? That people don't make the decision unless you give them a reason to. Okay, so that's one of the benefits of doing this short-term 2-3 week promotional launch. Just so you know, you're going to see a big spike. If you're like following the pattern of most people, you usually see a big spike of registrations on the first and second day, and then at the end you see a few more kind of trickle in. Well, in the online marketing space, you see a spike at the end. In my case, I saw, like, I would say it was a moderate amount of people that came in towards the end. Most of them came in at the front end. Launches also create a lot of hype and momentum for your brand, because for like 3 weeks you're going at it hardcore. You have a strategy, you have a plan. Every day there's something you're doing. You're getting live on video on Facebook, and you're teaching stuff, and you're sending things out through email, and you're responding, and you're engaging, and there's just this, you know, there's like everyone's so excited, and you like call in your members to help you too. So there's just this energy that's swirling. And in a business, like, I personally cannot maintain that momentum for that long. So that's why I don't like launches to be super long. It's a little bit tiring, but you will see this pickup in energy, and that's like a really cool thing to create for your brand from time to time. It also gives your followers, your customers who have actually bought, it gives them an opportunity to tell, because you're going to ask them to tell about your brand to their friends. And that is a really important step in the customer value journey, causing them to do a testimonial, because that will make them more loyal. So that's also a benefit of a launch. You create a mechanism that really encourages your current members to talk about your farm and share it with people. And then finally, one of the other benefits of the launch, which is not really talked about a ton, but I think it's really valuable, is that you have permission to be uber salesy in this 3-week period. It's so hard, isn't it? Like, I struggled with that when I first began this process. I was like, I don't want to be salesy. I just feel like I'm talking about buy this, buy this. Here's the thing, your followers who are on your Facebook page, who are on your list, they raised their hand and subscribed for your list for a reason, because they wanted to learn from you. They wanted to know more about your product. Keep that in mind, all right? This is not a cold audience. So they want you to talk to them about stuff. Now, do they want you to sell every week? No. And that's why I teach this 3-to-1 rule, that you want to give, and then ask. Give, and ask. Add value, then ask. All right? That's the general rule of thumb throughout the year. But during a promotional period, you can sell. And I think people in my audience, they give me permission to. They're like, you know what? I expect you to try and sell me stuff from time to time, all right? So I'm going to be able to handle a 3-week push or a 2-3 week push where I hear you talking about this a long time. Now, if you do this all the time, not only will you be exhausted, but your audience will get exhausted and will get tired of hearing that. So that's why Launches are usually only done like 3 times a year, and that's kind of it, max, all right? Because it's just too much intensity for the customer. But this is a benefit for the launch system because you can come out hard and strong and not feel bad about it because you're only going to do this a few times a year, right? Okay, we talked about this a little bit. Who's your target for the launch? Set this goal. Be really clear up front. Who are you trying to reach, okay? Because are you just going to try and reach the email leads, the people that are on your email list? Because there's a way to do this launch and modify this launch so that you're really just trying to talk to them. If you have a really big list, you can do this so that you're just sending links to the video content, or you could do an email course, where you send it to them that way. Or are you trying to reach your followers on Facebook who are following you? You're trying to do both, number 1 and number 2. Or are you trying to hit up a cold audience? Now, I feel like my primary purpose in the launch is, again, to hit number 1 and 2, but I am also aware that I want to get some of number 3. I want to get some cold people into my web, get them to subscribe to stuff so that I can nurture them down the road later. But I don't expect them to necessarily buy. This is a high ticket item, and it's very rare in the customer value journey for someone to shell out $405 when they just met me. So I don't really expect that. But I do, say, hey, come into my sphere of influence. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to expose you to my brand and get you excited during this launch, and then maybe next year. Okay. So kind of set your goal, be realistic about what you think you can accomplish. All right, the secret of the launch system, before I get into the steps, the secret of the launch system, there are really 2 things that I want you to remember today, because there's going to be a lot of stuff flying at you here in a minute. Number 1, your offer has to be good. Okay, the reason if your launch, if you try it and it doesn't work, it doesn't bring you a lot of sales in, the way you troubleshoot it is the number 1 thing you look at is, was my offer good? Was it a good fit for my audience? And a lot of times that's where the mistake is. Either the lead magnet didn't appeal to them, the training content wasn't quite right, or the offer itself was just like not something that people wanted. You didn't have the right words, you didn't have the right bonus that forced them to buy, you didn't have the right price point, you didn't have the right benefits. So your offer needs to be good, and there's a whole video in the video training library here about how to build a great offer. I want you to watch that at some point. It's got good stuff in there. I'm not going to go over that again right now because it's already in detail somewhere else. But your offer has to be good. That means you have to have really good bonuses, because the bonuses are what make people buy, okay? And you have to have urgency. You have to have something in there that makes that fear of missing out, like, this offer goes away. The basic core offer that's there all the time on the website all year long might be X, but during launch season, it's X plus 1 plus 1, okay? And those plus 1 plus 1s go away in 2 weeks. And that causes people to go, and if the bonus is great and you create that urgency, that's why this works, okay? So don't shy away from the urgency factor and the bonus factor. And then finally, the second tip, the second secret is the email sequence is there to help you. I feel like that's the engine that actually sells. People are going to watch your content, they're going to get interested, they're going to be intrigued, but they have to think about it, right? That logic piece needs to help them justify this emotional decision they want to make. So it's going to take a few days, and that's where the sales sequence that you create in email that you drip out over the course of this launch is what kind of pushes them over the edge. And there's some strategic things that you put in those emails to make them say, okay, you've convinced me. All right. Now, again, I've already done a training on what goes into that email sequence. So I'm going to ask you to check that out. I'll review it very briefly here in a moment, but the details about that is somewhere else. So you can go find that in another training. Okay, so what's your strategy prep work? I'm trying to figure out where I'm supposed to look on this camera. I never do it this way. I feel like I should look here, but so forgive me if my eyes are going all over the place. What is the strategy prep work? So first you need to get your copywriting assets in order. And that's why that freebie that I'm going to share with you today is so awesome. So you can get that at sharedlegacyfarms.com/launch-copy. I'll put the link in the notes. If you're having trouble pulling it up, I think you have to do HTTP at the front. So sharedlegacyfarms.com/launch-copy. And this is a 2-page checklist of kind of the ultimate copywriting essentials that you need for your launch. All right, it's just going to kind of let you know these are the things to get ready. And I'm going to go over some of them right now. Okay, so first of all, the thing number one, I just mentioned it, you need to know your offer. Have a great offer. So get that together. Write it down. Be really clear. What is my offer during the launch? And it has to be different than the one that you have all year long that's just sitting there in the off season, you know, when the launch is over. Has to be different. So what are the features and benefits? What are your bonuses? How are you creating scarcity and urgency? What's the price? And again, if the offer, if the system doesn't work and you don't get a lot of sales out of a launch, a lot of times it's because the offer just wasn't sweet enough. It wasn't the right fit. So that's number one. Step one is just take some time and write that down. I'm not going to go into super detail again about how to do that, but figure out what is the offer, what's going on the sales page. When I meet with someone in person at these CSA fairs, what is the offer? What am I going to talk about? What are you getting with this membership? Okay. Number two, prep your sales email sequence. Again, I just said I have a whole training on this. Here are some of the things real fast that typically that you could put in there. You have your welcome email. That's the first one they get when they subscribe to that lead magnet. Then you've got things like, not necessarily in this order, but you're going to talk about the problem and the pain point and how you have a solution to that pain point. You understand that pain point, and here you have a unique solution. Show generosity, so you can give things away, freebies that are going to add value to them, tips, tricks, hacks, videos that teach something that are on your YouTube page, or a PDF or a cheat sheet. You can do testimonials. You should have emails that are testimonials or case studies. You should have emails that answer the objections that your customer avatar has, and you will know what those are if you did surveys of your customer avatar. Frequently asked questions. What are the questions you get asked all the time? There should be emails about that in your sales sequence. Future pacing. So emails that just kind of paint the picture of what life will be like after they use your product, how they're going to change, what's the transformation going to be like. Imagine this, right? So stories that allow them to future pace. Who is this for and who is this not for? You can have emails about that as well. Those emails qualify the lead. So these are just some examples. I have more details, like I said, in that email sequence training, really detailed training. But this is the second kind of copywriting asset you need to have ready. Hopefully you've been working on it. If you've been working with me for the last few months, you have already got that in place. All right, the third thing, this is kind of the new one that I haven't talked a lot about yet. The third copywriting piece or thing you need to prep to get the launch ready is the teaching content. You are going to present a video training series to your leads. Okay, that's how I want you to think of it. Video training series or an email training series. So you need to come up with 3 to 5 topics that you could teach on. So these topics, I would recommend you try using Facebook Live, because most of your customers are probably on Facebook. And it's a great place where you can get reach, because there's really good organic traffic for that right now. And so you're going to just be able to go Facebook Live, you'll have your notes prepped, and you're going to teach something. So I'm going to give you some topics. I'm not going to give you my notes. That might be for a paid course someday. But I'm just going to give you some general topics that I have done in the past that really worked for me. So my first video that I did was the 6 questions. Is CSA right for you? Okay, I did a workshop like I'm doing right here with you in front of a camera, and I just got on my business page and I just started, actually I did it in a private page, but I'll talk more about that. Do it on your business page and just start talking. Introduce the topic and start going through the information. Okay, another topic that you could do 2 days later would be what's in a box. What's in a typical box? I'm not saying, actually that probably shouldn't be your second video, but these are some examples. What's in a box? You could explain, that's going to be a question that people are going to have. So you could show a box, you could talk about the different sizes, you could talk about how you decide what's going to go in there. You could do one on how to choose a CSA from the many options in the area. How does someone go about finding a CSA? Okay, that is a great topic for somebody who's interested in it. What is it that they want to know? The first moment they're like, I want to do a CSA. Now, what do I do? How do I find one? Teach them how to find one. Go to Local Harvest. Tell them that, give them a checklist. First, look for these things. You want to ask these 10 questions when you're comparing CSAs in your area. That was a really popular video when I did this the first time around. And it makes sense to have that up on the front end of this funnel of this training process. Okay, so that's like training course number 2 that you do like 2 days later on the Facebook page. So you're mapping out what are these different teaching courses going to be, these workshops going to be, and then you kind of figure out what's the best order that I should put them in, and then space them out every couple weeks. But I'll get into the details about that in a second. But right now you just want to figure out what are these training video topics even going to be. Okay, so another one would be how does the CSA work? Okay, how does it work? How does it benefit the farmer? How does it benefit the customer? How do you pick up your box? What does this all look like? Give me the step-by-step. You could do a case study. You could invite customers over for a round table and just turn on the camera and interview a couple of them live and ask them to talk about their experience. Okay, now you've got testimony, you've got case studies, you've got people talking about how they loved it. All right, that could be a topic that you do. Advice from CSA masters to CSA rookies. This was a really, really popular one for me, and I got the content from my survey. So if you ask this question in your survey, you'll have your notes. But this was great because people, you know that people who are listening to this particular video are interested in your product. Reasons why people don't renew their membership from year to year. Now, I know you might be like, really, Corinna, you want me to talk about that? Yes, I do, because this video, this content will qualify your leads. It will weed out all the people who are in it for the wrong reasons. So this is a chance for you to be honest. Be like, look, there are people who don't renew. Let me tell you why. So that if you have this issue, you probably shouldn't do it. Okay? I do that one kind of further down in my curriculum, but it was in there. Okay, so those are just a few options that I could think of. Those are the ones that off the top of my head, that I did. So you want to prepare kind of just a list of what are those trainings going to be, and then you need to actually create notes for them. Okay, so I probably spent about 30 minutes creating notes for each of those videos. So there is some work here, guys, but once you have those, you get to reuse them year after year. Okay, the fourth asset, strategy prep work that I want you to do, copywriting asset that you need to get ready, is lead magnets. So hopefully you've been working on some of those already and you have those kind of ready to launch anyway, but what I tried to do was come up with one lead magnet for every one of my training videos. So I looked for alignment with the lead magnet and the training video. And the reason that you want a lead magnet is because your call to action in the video that you're going to mention at the beginning, in the middle, and the end of the video is download. If you want more information, or if you want to grab my cheat sheet if you want to grab my checklist to help you find a CSA in your area, go to yourfarmname.com/checklist, okay? And when they go to that URL, because they want that freebie, they are going to give you their email address, and now you have them subscribed, okay? So you want to have a lead magnet that matches up with your training, because that is how you get them in your funnel. Because remember, it's the email sequence in a launch campaign. It's the email sequence that often ends up closing the deal, not your video trainings. The video trainings are kind of like bait to get them in. All right. Now your lead magnets should be the next logical step. So as you think about, what am I teaching on? So what would be the next logical thing a person, after they've heard this video, might want? And the lead magnets are also great because, remember, you've got cold audience members out there. And so this gives them a chance to raise their hand and say, I'm interested in this. And then they'll end up getting tagged as a CSA lead, and you can sell to them later. Okay, you can use the same lead magnet. If it works out, you can use the same lead magnet for a couple of videos. I can't, right off the top of my head, think of an example of that, but I'm sure that that's possible. So depending on how you decide to structure your teaching, okay? The fifth thing you need to prep is your bonus, all right? I'm going to do an entire training. It's either going to be next week or the week after that, all about bonuses and how to break down an extraordinary bonus. But get these bonuses ready in advance, because sometimes you don't have to actually make them. Sometimes they're just like, hey, you're going to have dinner we're going to create a barbecue dinner event for people who sign up during this period. That was an idea that I heard actually from someone in this group, which I thought was great. But it could be a PDF. It could be something that you actually have to make and write. So you'll need enough time to create that. Like I said, I'm going to do a whole training either next week or the week after that. That's a deep dive into bonuses, okay? But you do need to have those ready because those get executed at various places in the launch. Number 6, an opt-in form. So obviously you need a place where people can go and enter their email address. So they come and they see this video, you're trying to get their email address and to capture that lead. So you're going to need to create a form through your email service provider, or I use Lead Pages and my email service provider together to make these really pretty ones. And that's where they go when they see your video, or they read an email or something, or a friend says, hey, go to this website's URL to get it. You can say that at the farmer's market when you're at a CSA fair. If you want this freebie, go here to this URL and grab it. And then that is where they then get that lead magnet, and then you can start selling to them. So you need to have an opt-in form somewhere. Remember, capturing the email lead, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. You need to have that in place. Number 7, a sales page, okay? So you need somewhere on your website that spells out the offer in detail. This offer, not the offer that's there all the time, this offer. And so I want to do a little bit of clarification right now because there have been questions coming at me in the group about what's the, do I need to put the sales page, can it just be a page on my website? Or does it need to be a special landing page? And you could just put it on a website. You could create a new page on your website where you build the offer, where you spell out this special offer, okay? Or you just put it on, change the stuff that's on your pricing page right now so that it reflects your new offer. You could do that. That is one option. In the online marketing space, they recommend creating a sales page as a separate landing page. And a landing page is different than a website page. I mean, it's all on the web, right? But a landing page is built so that when people click on the link that says, learn more, it takes them to a page where it kind of shares the offer, and the only thing that you can do on that page is click buy now, okay? Or the call to action button that's in there. Or you can click on the X to X out of this box that's popped up, right? To tell the offer. Those are the only two options. On a normal website, if you stick it on your normal website, you'll have, the offer there, but they'll also see the navigation tabs. They'll have all these other things that could distract them while they're looking at the page that could cause them to X out. So they have found, research has shown that if you put it on a landing page, apparently, people are more likely to convert in that moment. Their backs are against a wall a little bit more because they're only presented with 2 options. So they're just more likely to choose, the one that you want. So that is why I recommend creating a separate sales page, landing page. If that's too advanced for you right now, don't worry about it. Just put it on your website, create a special page. Just make sure that you delete the other offer page that's there all year long because you don't want to confuse people, right? There's only one offer right now during the launch season. So make it live the day you go live with your launch. That's when you change that page, all right? Okay, then finally, there's a thank you page. Now this one, I don't even think I put it in the freebie bonus that I'm giving you today because this is sort of super ninja optional, and I didn't use this in my last launches, but I will be in the future. So the thank you page is the page that the person is automatically taken to, the page that a person is automatically sent to after they opt in with their email. Okay, so they click to download the Harvest Calendar Guide, and immediately a page comes up, and you don't control that. That's done by the machine behind, that you've set up, and it takes them to a page that says, thanks for signing up. And I like to create that page so that it tells them what they need to do next. So it'll say, you need to go to your email box now and get it. And the reason why I have to say that is because I have selected double opt-in for my email service provider. I do that on purpose because I don't want a bunch of spammy emails coming, because otherwise anybody could just type in some weird email and now it's getting counted in my list and I'm paying for it. I would rather only be paying for people who subscribe and then go and click again in the email and say, yes, I want this. Now I know they're for real, and now I'm paying for those members only. Okay, that's a feature in ConvertKit and some of the other email service providers. So I tell them to do that because sometimes people don't do that. If I don't give them a thank you page, they'll forget. You know, they do this on their phone and they get busy and then they forget to go check it. And then they never open their email and they never get it. And they, so I don't get them as a lead then. So I tell them, go now. You have to click on this button if you want the lead magnet. The second thing I do on that page is I'll often say, I'll give them another step. I'll be like in your case, if you joined this particular group, on the thank you page now it says, here's the link to get to the Facebook group. Like I just put it right there so you can cut and paste it. So you don't have to wait and go find it in the email, okay? So whatever the next logical step is in their journey, you don't want to close the conversation. You want to do the next step. So that's why I like having a thank you page, because it tells them, here's what I want you to do next. Here's the other reason why a thank you page is so valuable, because you pixel it. All right, now if you get into the world of Facebook ads and you get kind of ninja with Facebook ads, you want to be able to pixelate the people who have visited the thank you page, because then when you target people with your ad, you can tell Facebook, only show this ad to people who are on my leads list, which you've uploaded to Facebook, but who have not been to the thank you page, right? So you can get that granular in the targeting, and that way you're not spending money on people who've already, gotten this particular lead magnet, and you're also not bothering people with an ad who've already gotten that particular lead magnet. Like, why am I seeing this ad? I've already done this. Okay, so that's why the thank you page URL is so important, because you could use that to screen and filter out people when you're doing your targeting in Facebook ads. Okay. All right. And you set those lead pages up, or those thank you pages up in lead pages. I think ConvertKit can send them to a generic one too, but it's not very pretty, so I don't use that one. Lynn is asking, could you share what your landing page looks like? Lynn, I can, yeah. You can go to sharedlegacyfarms.com/box, and you can see what the basic landing page looks like. It doesn't have the offer in it anymore. It's sort of my standard offer right now. But it doesn't have all these bonuses. There used to be sections in that landing page, sales page, that had the bonuses. So just be aware that those were removed once the launch period was done. Okay, so you can see an example of what one would look like. And I built that particular page very easily in lead pages. All right, number 9. What am I even talking about? Oh, these are the strategy prep work, the copywriting assets that you need to get in order, okay? Number 9, create custom audiences in Facebook. This isn't really copywriting stuff, but this is a step that you want to do. And this is something that if you're not going to do this, right, this whole launch system, this is something you can do at the very least, just in general, to go to your Facebook Ads Manager and create custom audiences for the following categories. For website visitors, okay, so you'll have to type in your generic homepage website, and Facebook will start populating people who visit there over the next, 30, 60 days. It'll just keep populating. And then as you progress through the season, you can target ads to people who come to your website homepage. But you can also create custom audiences for very specific web pages. So you can write the URL address of your sales page, okay? And so that you can keep track of who's coming to my sales page so that you can target them with an ad. So going into Facebook, into audiences, and setting up custom audiences. Another one you can do, upload your CSA email leads list. Just create a separate audience just for that, because then you can target your ads to just that audience. Upload your CSA customers as a separate lead list, or as a separate list and audience. Do a lookalike audience of your CSA customers. Create a custom audience for that. Create a lookalike audience of your Facebook page. Anybody who's a fan of your Facebook page. So if you just do 5 or 6 things, you'll have this set of audiences that you can kind of pick from when you start making ads this coming season. You may not be able to use that in your launch. If you haven't set that up yet, you may not be able to use that in your launch, because it does take Facebook some time to populate that particular audience. And you need to have a minimum number for it to work. So, which might be like 100. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right, and then finally, step 10, the thing you need to prep is you need to decide on your dates. All right, decide on your dates. What is your pre-launch date? What is your cart open date? Your cart close date? And when will you be releasing your bonuses, if you're going to release them periodically throughout the season? We'll talk more about that in the bonus training. So the pre-launch start date, I talked about, this is a 3-week period that I'm recommending you start with. I did 4 weeks and it was too long. It was just too long. So I'm like, well, maybe 3. I feel like when you get really good at this, it should be 2 weeks. But for just being a beginner, there's a lot of stuff and you're going to be like, oh, so I think 3 weeks is fine. So first you're going to decide, when is the cart closed? Like, what's the end? When is the date that the offer goes away? Figure out when that needs to be for you, okay? And then back it up and kind of do, okay, cart opens. Usually the cart opens between 7 and 10 days before the cart closes. So there's a very short period of time where you're really hardcore selling and, you know, getting people to make a decision. In this case, you might want to set the cart open date at day 8 or 9, okay? So that there's a full 2 weeks where it's open. That's kind of up to you. It sort of depends on when you look at all your video trainings and your emails that need to go out, how it best makes sense to arrange it. But you need to set that date. When does the store, when the offer officially goes live, figure out what that date is. That's called the cart open date. All right. And then the the pre-launch start date is when does this whole campaign begin? So that's day 1, all right? And the pre-launch period, I'm going to go through what kinds of stuff happened during those first 7 days. This is the day during the pre-launch, your cart is not open. You are not actually selling and promoting the offer. You're just teasing and you're letting people know about it and you're getting them excited and you're teaching them these videos, right? You're building your list. That's what's happening in that first week. The cart is not open. It's going to be so hard for you. I can just see it. You're going to be like, no, I want to be open the whole time. What if I lose people? You will not lose people, okay? If you do this well, they will be sucked in and they will want to learn more and they will get so excited that they can't wait until you open it. And that's why we usually see a spike on the day that the cart opens, okay? So you have to create that frenzy by having it closed for that pre-launch period and teasing it out, okay? So figure out when those 3 dates are. Bonus release dates, I'll talk about this a little bit more when we get to bonuses, but you can drip your bonuses out. You don't have to stick them all in the front offer. In fact, it's kind of a strategy sometimes to hold back a few bonuses that you add in at various times during the launch to stimulate excitement. So when things kind of begin to lull, you can say, oh, you know what? I'm throwing in a bonus on the last day. And sometimes that's enough to cause people to, make the decision. So we'll talk about that later, but kind of figure out, do I have some bonuses that I could drip out? Where would it make sense? Where is there going to be a lull in activity so I could whip it out of my pocket and just quick decide, I'm going to throw a bonus in here right now to get people to decide and sweeten the deal. Okay, so that's all the stuff you have to do on the back end. Now look, I know you're going, oh my God, are you kidding me? Yes, that's how I felt too when I first did this. Here's the thing. That's why this is kind of ninja and advanced. But listen to what I'm just kind of listen to what I'm teaching today and pick out if you're like, this is too much, Corinna, fine. Then just keep listening and listen for some nuggets that you can maybe apply to what you're doing this year. Or try to modify. You don't have to do 8 million video trainings. If you just want to do like 1 or 2, just try that. Just try that and see if it works. Okay? But it is going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of work on the front end to create the machine. But you're going to have all this awesome stuff when you're done that you can just reuse again and again in future promotions. So just remember that. This is an investment, okay? All right, so now let's talk about what do you do on these different days, okay? So there's 2 phases. Phase 1 is days, in this case, I'm going to say phase 1 is days 1 through 7, but you may decide that it's days 1 through 9. Kind of depends on how you decide after you listen to this training and you sit down and you calendar it all out. You may decide, I need more time on the front end to get some information in, okay, before I open the cart. But the pre-launch period is that period of time, like I said before, I'm sorry, I'm jarring the cart camera, that period of time before you open the cart where you're creating hype, okay? Your target is your leads list, okay? Your Facebook fans. Those are your primary targets. Remember that. And you're kind of trying to get cold leads. I know we all want like people off the street to sign up, but remember the odds are they probably won't, okay? But you're trying to target the people that are on your leads list and who have been with you for a while and who are Facebook fans who've been following you for a while. They're going to be more likely to convert for an offer like this, okay? And your goal during this period is to speak to those leads and tease them that something awesome is coming, all right? and you're going to get them hyped up. At some point during these 7 days, you're going to share the details of the offer. You're going to share some details of the bonus, and you're going to create a little bit of urgency. You're going to talk about why it matters that they buy that first day, and they're going to just be like, oh my God, I can't wait. Okay, that is what you're doing during these 7 days. So you are giving them content in the video trainings too, but you're trying to tease and hype up this excitement and energy. All right, so how does this work? So number one, you've got those video trainings. All right, so you've sort of done the work of figuring out what are they even going to be, and you're going to take, I would recommend a 3 or 4 part video series, okay, video training series. And I want you to kind of call it that. Like, that's how you're sort of branding this experience to people. I've got a 3-part video series that I'm going to share with you over the next week that kind of walks you through why CSA might be a right fit for you, or whatever, however you word it, okay? So I recommend doing a video every 2 days during the 7-day period, because you need to continue the momentum, and the videos are what create momentum. It's the content that adds value and gives people a feeling of excitement. So the video is a Facebook Live video. All right, I just feel like people do better live than they do when it's pre-recorded. Plus, you can engage with your audience when it's happening, and that's where the connection happens. That's where the sales begin to happen, because people feel like you're listening to them. All right, and when you create these videos, as you're scripting them out, just remember that you need to have a call to action. Okay, don't just teach something and say, okay, thanks, bye. Okay, no, don't do that. There needs to be a call to action. One thing that you want them to do, actually I'm going to say 2. Okay, that is the most important part of this video. So if you forget that, you've messed up. Okay, so put that really big on your notes when you're preparing. And you want to say that call to action in the beginning of the video, at the very beginning, because remember, there are going to be some people that only watch like the first 3 to 5 seconds and they tune out. So you want to try and get that in the first 10 seconds or maybe 15 seconds. Say, hey, I've got this freebie. Put it in the post as well, in the actual post comments about the freebie. But you want to mention it at the beginning in case they don't make it through the whole content. You want to mention the freebie in the middle, and you want to mention it at the end as well, okay? So what are those calls to action? So it depends, but to me the obvious one is you want them to download the lead magnet that goes along with this video training, because you're trying to capture their email address, okay? And then those emails will begin to drip out to them, because you're going to tell your email service provider to tag anyone who comes to this form and fills it out, tag them as a CSA lead, and then you're going to tell your drip campaign that you set up, send this automatically to anyone who gets tagged as a CSA lead. All right, that's kind of how that works. The second call to action, really fast, this can be super easy, is just say, hey, subscribe to my video if you like it. That'll make sure that you continue to see the other videos in this training series, okay? So that's the second call to action. And then at the end of that video, I always kind of tease what's going to be the next video. What's the content going to be? So that they're like, oh, I want to tune in for that. That sounds like it would be interesting. Be sure to answer questions that people are asking. Encourage them to ask questions. And when I structure my talk and my notes, I try to structure it in such a way so that I place questions in there that I can ask, and I'll be like, hey, share with me your one question about this, or what do you think about this? Is this something that you guys think about or that you struggle with, or what's the one thing that really bugs you about X? Just come up with a few of those questions and place them in your notes so that you can encourage people to actually engage with you. I like to try to keep those videos at 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. I know it sounds like a long time, but again, somebody who's interested in this topic will watch almost all of it. And that's what's so great. And those are the people you want, right? So don't feel bad that, oh, there's a bunch of people that aren't watching my video. Well, those aren't your avatars, right? If you come up with the right content, it's going to attract this person that you want, and they will watch the whole thing, okay? Another important thing is you want to post, like I do in the Facebook group for this group. I announce that I'm going to do a video, and I tell what the topic is, like at least a day in advance, so that people can kind of schedule it and make sure that they can show up live. Now, some of them won't be able to, and then you just say catch the replay. You want to say, hey, you can catch the replay here anytime you want. But just let them know, hey, it's going to be happening at this time. I'd love if you tune in. And you can even say, if you have any questions, put your questions in the comments so that I can answer them during the video, okay? So just make sure you advertise that you're going to go on. So every 2 days, you're going to have this kind of scheduled in your brain. So you're going to need to kind of think through as you're planning this. Okay, when do I post the reminder post that it's coming, right? Like kind of have that in your map, in your roadmap as you're putting this all together. And then don't forget the power of email. So remember, a lot of these people, you already have a leads list. So email your list before you do the video. Say, hey, I'm going to do, this is like part of that first hype email, right? That goes out in your pre-launch. I'm starting this new thing. I'm really excited. I can't wait to take you on this journey. I'm going to do this 3-part video series over the next 7 days, all about CSA. And I would love it if you would join it. The first one is going to be on blah, blah, blah topic. It's going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. I hope you can join me on my page. Okay. So you want to do an email broadcast to your CSA list the day before to just let them know it's happening. And then the day, either that night after it's done, or the next morning after the video has happened, you email the list again and you tell them, hey, this just happened. If you missed it, here's what I covered. Hope you can watch it. Okay, so just kind of keep them in the loop. Okay, so that whole part, in this first 7 days, you've got these videos going on, all right? The second thing that you've got going on are what I call hype emails. And these are pre-written and ready to execute to your CSA leads list every day. So you've kind of thought through what are the emails that I'm going to send them to start getting them hyped. Some of these emails, pre-written emails, are going to come from the email campaign that you've written, right? That you've already put together, your sales sequence that I did a training on. So you can steal some of those first 2 or 3. Some of the hype emails that are going to come in the first 7 days, definitely a welcome email where you just kind of let people know I'm doing a training. And I hope you can come to the first one, right? You definitely want to have something about the problem that you're going to solve that you can't wait to, share with them how your life's going to be better because of this. You definitely want to start teasing the offer. I usually don't deliver the offer until like 2 days before I actually open the cart. And then you start teasing the bonuses too. So the bonuses get their own email, and that's usually 2 days or the day before the cart opens as well. So those are definitely things that need to happen that create this hype. Okay. The third thing in phase 1 is that you kind of start thinking through, you're going to be doing retargeting with some ads. So this is sort of optional. This is like based on how things are going, but take a look at how your video training post does. Usually live video does really well organically right now, better than, the 1% reach that all your posts get right now. So if people have been commenting, if there's a lot of comments, a lot of likes, you can promote it, you can boost it, and send it out. And that's where setting those custom audiences comes into play, because when you boost it, it'll ask you which audience do you want to send it to, and you can click one of the options. I want to send it to people who visited my website. I want to send it to people who are on my CSA email leads list, and so forth. Okay, so just be aware that those trainings are things that become ads later on, so that they can continue to spread through the rest of the week. I want you to know this, and maybe you don't, but if you're just putting posts on your Facebook page right now, your business page, and hoping that people are seeing them, that your fans are seeing them, I am here to tell you they are not. There is I think it's a 1 or 2% organic reach right now, which means that only 1 or 2% of your audience members are seeing it show up in their Facebook newsfeed. So if you are relying on just posts on your business page to sell your CSA and you're not putting money behind them, you will not reach anyone. So that's why you have to be strategic about, I'm going to throw some money behind some of these ads or some of these videos, and I'm going to do the ones that are doing well, that get engagement. Okay. All right. That's kind of week 1. All right. You've got the hype emails, you've got the video training going on, and you're starting to do retargeting ads with those videos to some of these custom audiences. Okay. So that you can build your email list, or so that you can get them to watch the content, so that they begin to be ready to logically buy, right? Okay. The second phase is the cart open phase. Okay. Now the goal of the cart open phase, this is, in your case, it's going to be days 8 through 21 or less. If you're comfortable making the launch period less than 3 weeks, you're going to find that these 2 weeks are long and they start to drag. So it's okay to make it shorter. If you can make it shorter, make it shorter. The focus, so the goal here is to let them loose, right? You've just teased them, you've hyped them up, you've gotten them excited, and now you're going to let them loose. You're going to make the offer live. And you want to make the sale. So you're driving fear of missing out, FOMO. You're driving urgency during this period. Because again, the offer doesn't last forever. So that's getting talked about a lot. And you're talking about the benefits, you're talking about all these other features. Okay, so the focus is shifting in this case. I feel like the focus shifts for me to the leads that I've generated so far. I'm not as concerned about trying to get cold traffic to find out about my video series as much. I'm more like, okay, I want to start talking to the people who have been engaging with me in the last 7 days, all right? Who have raised their hand and shown that they're interested. They're showing up to the videos, they're engaging with my emails. Okay, so this is when you get your calendar and you start mapping things out. So during these, let's just say it's 14 days of phase 2, you have several options to fill out this time. So you're going to have more video content, right? So remember I had you brainstorm some of those other topics. Put some more video content in here. This is the free, valuable content that's helping them make their decision. So you can space those out however you want, however it makes sense for you. I tend to feel like it makes more sense to front load them as opposed to sticking them toward the end. You're going to find that in a 21-day period, people are beginning to lose some interest, and if they haven't made their decision yet, it's going to be hard to convince them with another video. So I feel like stacking them into the first 2/3 of the launch is probably wise, and then let the email sequence do the rest. So I do recommend that during these 14 days, you do one Facebook Live Q&A session. And this is where you advertise it a couple days in advance that you're going to do this, an interview with your farmers. You can ask me whatever you want, and I will answer it for you. And my husband and I sat in the kitchen, and we had questions that came to us in advance because we had posted, give us your questions. So we had some to work from. And then I had a few in my back pocket that I added in there that no one had asked, but I was like, I would like someone to ask this question. So I added it in there because I'm trying to make a sale. So we answered those questions live, and we had a ton of people tune in, a ton. We did it in the evening as well. So I tried to do it a second time, didn't get as much engagement. So I feel like most of the people kind of had that need met of, oh, I want to interact with the farmer. And I got to meet him, and I got to see what he's like, and I get to hear his voice and how he talks, and just his personality kind of shines through, and how he and Kurt and I interact together, how we're as a team, we kind of joke around with each other and nitpick a little bit like a married couple, and all those things that make you endearing. So I would definitely encourage you to put that one. That one's kind of fun because you don't know where it's going to go, but it's also really easy because you don't have to prepare and you just speak from the heart, and your personality really shines through. There's other, like if you have YouTube videos that you've got somewhere on a YouTube channel, repurpose them. Like go back and look at what you've already created and just link them up. Be like, oh, that could be something that you put on your Facebook page on a particular day. You want to try obviously and post something every day on your Facebook page. Okay, this is also the time when you're starting to drip out the email sales sequence that you composed in advance. Now, the one thing, well, there's a few things here I want to say. Be strategic about the order in which you drip these out. So if you're going to do a video on day 9 about a certain topic, maybe it makes sense to create, to put one of your email sequences on that day as well that kind of aligns with what you taught, right? If that happens. If it doesn't happen, if it's not even possible, then don't worry about it. But if there are some emails that kind of align with some of your video content, you might want to try and put those on the same day so that it makes sense. But you also want to pay attention to the flow, right? There's a process of information that you give people so to kind of convince them to buy. So you wouldn't lead with, an email that's all about, I'm trying to think of an example here. Like I'm not going to start with what's in your box right away, like as the second training video, because it makes more sense to kind of begin with, well, would you be a good fit as a CSA member? How does a CSA work? What are the questions that people have on the front end, and slowly move them down, the channel. And it's the same way with emails. You want to think through what would be the logical next question that they're asking about, so that I can answer that in my email. Day 20, the second to last day, your email should remind them that the cart is closing on the next day. It's a very short email, like 2 or 3 sentences, and it's all about urgency. It's just like, your time is running out. Boom, here's the link to the sales page. And then day 21, the final day, I send out 2 emails. I send one kind of in the morning, and then I send one in the evening around 7:30, 8 p.m. It's like, final call, and that's what's in the subject line, and it's just like very urgency focused, scarcity focused. The other thing I want you to remember is that these sales email sequences they're not automatically dripped out. So I do set up an automatic drip campaign when I'm outside of a launch season, so that if someone comes into my web and gets a lead magnet, then they automatically get sent through this thing. I time it every 2 days, send this one. But during the launch period, I don't do that. I want to control when those emails go out. So I just have it mapped out on a calendar. I have the emails ready, and then I stick them as either as a broadcast, or you can create the drip as you go, so that they just start to happen. That way you can control a little bit when they come out. Les, don't worry. You can watch the replay of this video. When it's over, just find this post and just click on the play button, and you'll be able to hear it again. It's also in the archives, the video archives. If you go to the desktop view of this page, on the left-hand side, there's a whole banner, and it's one of the things that says is videos. Click on videos, and you'll find this one. So you can watch this one. You can watch all the videos I've ever done in this group in that video archive. So no worries. Okay, so that is all I'm going to say about the email sales sequence. That is going on here during phase 2. Okay. Social media posts. So you want to kind of have that on your mapping calendar too. So just strategize beforehand. You want to have this all planned out, so that you're not on day 19 and you're like, what do I put it? Where do I put? What do I even do today? Like, you want to just know. You want to be like, I've got 10 options, and I'm going to pick this one today, right? So I kind of put it all in a calendar, but I also just sort of have this list, and sometimes I shuffle things around as I'm going through the launch, because I'm like, I'm feeling like this topic is more interesting to my audience right now, and I move things around. That's why I don't like to have the automatic drip in place, because sometimes I flip-flop the emails, because I'm like, I feel like this needs to come first now. So social media posts, again, you every day you should be posting one post of some sort on Facebook and Instagram at least. Okay, that's where most of the people are. So you have the videos I talked about. You have YouTube videos that you've done before to repurpose, pictures of the product, pictures of your box, pictures of you in the field, pictures of your gorgeous carrots, right? Like the thing you're selling, and make sure they're gorgeous pictures, right? You could do a tour of the farm. So just get your camera out with your significant other or partner at the farm, and just take them on a tour of the farm. Walk around, show them the buildings. When you physically walk people through doors and bounce them from place to place, it actually creates a sense of intimacy with them. This is a psychological thing. And it creates a sense of, I feel close to you now. I feel like I can trust you. So that's actually a really great thing to try. Walk around for 10 minutes and just talk about your farm. People might actually really like that. Insta stories, just make a list of all the different kinds of things you could post every day. And if they can align with your email sales sequence, even better. Okay, then Facebook ads are also continuing to run during phase 2. So you're continuing to play around with boosting videos that you're doing in your training series, or some of the ones that you've added on. If you decided to do 2 more during these 2 more trainings during these 14 days, you could try boosting some of those. You could post a picture and then talk about a feature that do a post that has some kind of a picture of a feature that you want to highlight, some element of your offer that you think is really great. So don't just think, think outside the box here. In my case, I obviously talk about the vegetable box, but I also have played around with posts that talk about the Facebook group and the community piece and how they're going to get training. So I kind of throw that in the mix, so they might see some of those as well. So think about some of those other features and benefits that are in your offer. If you want to talk about the customizable portion of your box, just do a post that's all about that, instead of cluttering it with all the other features in your offer. One of the things that I heard from Carly in our group was that she created a slideshow of her 2017 year in review and put that up and then put some money behind it. I loved that. What a great visual summary of your year, and it would give someone almost like a scrapbook experience, a vision cast of what your farm is all about. And the more pictures of people smiling and laughing, the better. And then the last thing I'm going to say about this is use posts from the past that have performed really well. So this is something that people don't do enough of. If you've had an ad in the past that rocked the Shazbah, like go back and get that picture, get the copy, and post it again. Throw money behind it again, because chances are it will do well for you again. There's a reason it resonated the first time, so it will probably resonate the second time. So go back last year or a few months ago, if you had something that went viral or just got a ton of shares and comments, do it again. Just post it again, and keep track of those posts that do really well, because that is a great hack for Facebook ads, is to repurpose ads that do well. Some of the digital marketing businesses, online businesses, they'll run the same ad post for a year. This is, granted, they're going to a million audience, but they don't change it because it's working so well for them and it's constantly getting in front of new eyes. Why change a good thing? All right, and then finally, number 5, bonuses. Your bonuses, it's not just about what are my bonuses, but how you position your bonus is really important. So don't stack all your bonuses into your main offer. Take at least one out, and have it for a power play, because you can decide. So here's one example that I haven't tried this, but I've seen it work in other places, and I'm going to do it next time. You can create a bonus that you unlock at the end of the campaign, and it gets a whole bunch of people who are on the fence to say, oh my gosh, you're going to give that away too? Okay, you just sweetened the deal. Now I'm doing it. Okay, so if you can come up with some bonuses that you can add in and you can talk about and advertise and throw into an email, or do a quick video where you pop on, you're like, oh my gosh, you guys, I've just decided to sweeten the deal. I'm going to do a bonus, an extra bonus for people who sign up today only, and it's this. Okay, super powerful. And another way to think about this is if you have a bonus that is only available on the first day and then it's gone. That is also super powerful. So just think that through that's why bonuses are so great. If you can come up with 2 or 3 bonuses and maybe just reserve one and hold it in the wings, so that if you feel like there's a lull in activity during those 14 days, you can be like, I'm going to whip out a bonus today and see if it does anything. All right. Okay, so that's kind of the strategy of week 2. And you're going to get to your final day. The cart's going to close. You need to close it. The offer needs to go away. Okay? And then hopefully, thumbs crossed? Fingers crossed. In Germany, we say, wir drücken die Daumen, which means we squeeze our thumbs. So I'm always like, So you're going to come to the end, and hopefully you're going to have people who have decided to buy. So I can't wait to see when you execute this. Hope you'll share your results if they're good, even if they're bad. We can encourage you, but I have a feeling you're going to get people signing up on the first day, and then also a lot on the end. Final tips. We're coming to the end. You guys have been troopers. This is the time to start typing in those questions, by the way, so that I can see them when I get to the end of my final tips. So if you have any, please share them right now. Launching is scary. The first time you do it, it's scary because it's new, and there's a part of me that was like, this isn't going to work. And I just put all this time in. This isn't going to work. What if it doesn't work? I'm going to feel stupid. I'm going to put all this out there and no one's going to sign up. It's going to be no different than before. You guys, that may happen. I guess that may happen. In my case, it didn't. I had incredible results. I had ridiculous results. And I don't know if that was because and maybe it's because I'm a good copywriter and I've been working on this. That's possible that I've been working on this for a while. But I really do believe in this formula. But I want you to know that it is scary. It is scary. And it may not work. It may not be crazy results the first time you do it. In the online marketing space, that is not uncommon because people have to work out the kinks of the system, right? They make a mistake or they forgot to do this. Or I remember the first time I did it, I didn't set up an opt-in form. And that was really dumb, so I wasn't collecting emails. But just go back to the drawing board, tweak it, fix your offer, and try again, okay? So, but be aware that it is going to be a little scary as it's happening because you're like, oh my God, here we go. The way that I looked at it was I saw this as an investment because I said, you know what, even if I don't get crazy results, through this process, I am creating video trainings, which is an awesome marketing asset that you can put on your YouTube page or just have and point people to all the time. You could create like a playlist in YouTube where you just stack these videos up back to back, and then when people find them, they'll go through them and you'll warm up your audience in the future, right? But I'm creating PDFs and cheat sheets, and I'll be able to use these in the future when I'm trying to sell. So yeah, it's a lot of work, and maybe it doesn't totally go the way I want the first time, but I'm making these great assets that I know I'll be able to use in other places. So it wasn't a waste of time. And as I said, as it turned out for me, I got just ridiculous 78% retention rate in 3 weeks. And then I opened up the campaign to my leads list and just my Facebook group, Facebook page, and I filled it up, to 96% in 10 days. And that was back in November. Early November. So that is the power of this. It's pretty awesome. I also want to say that this is exhausting. I did a 4-week launch one time, and it was exhausting. And I would encourage you to, if you can do it in like 2.5 weeks, you're going to be glad you did. So just realize that keeping that momentum up. There's a lot of excitement and momentum the first week, and you're just gung-ho and you see the results coming in and you're like, woohoo! And then there's sort of like day 11, 12, 13, and you're like, okay, I don't see as many signups. I kind of feel like this isn't going anywhere, and I just feel energy dropping. Just be aware that happens. So you want to try and prepare for that in advance. Be ready to engage. The people are going to be interacting with you on Facebook. They're going to be reaching out to you through Messenger. And you want to be watching those Facebook notifications like a hawk. That's partly why it's exhausting, because you're going to just be like interrupting your day all the time, checking your phone and responding, because you want to show people that you're engaging and you're listening to them, you're answering their questions. That's what they want. That's the customer service you need to provide during a launch. And just remember that people who have opted into your list or who are following you on your Facebook page expect you to sell to them at some point. They do. They're not going to be surprised if you come in hardcore salesy for a short period of time, as long as you keep it at a short period of time, right? And you're not doing this year or week after week after week all season long. Once somebody buys, remove them from the CSA leads tag. If you have tagged them a certain way and they have purchased, don't forget to do that, or they will keep getting that drip campaign. They'll keep getting those sales emails from you, and there's nothing more annoying when you've bought and you're like, why am I still getting this? I bought your stuff. It makes them feel like you're not paying attention. So just kind of keep that on your radar. Don't forget to start the CSA onboarding email sequence as soon as someone buys. So when I have someone buy, they get tagged, the tag gets removed, a new tag is added, CSA customer, and then and automatically the onboarding email sequence begins. I don't have to go in and do that every day. It just happens automatically. It drips out every 2 days, and it starts to teach them and indoctrinate them into the tribe. Okay, I'm almost done. You guys have been awesome. After the launch is over, celebrate the results with your tribe, with your CSA members. Let them know what has happened. And in fact, I don't think I mentioned this. I was supposed to say this early on in the process. You want to utilize your CSA members to help you. In that first pre-launch week, I send out emails to my CSA members and I tell them what I'm going to be doing and how I'm really excited about doing this training series. And I say, hey, if you know somebody that you think might want to do this, this is a great opportunity for you to refer them and tell them about it, because I'm going to do a great job of taking care of them. I'm going to walk them through this process and they're going to be in good hands. So if you want to promote the farm and help me promote the farm, just tell them to go, and watch this video. Okay. Let's see. So celebrate the results with your tribe and let them know how you did. If you still need more sales at the end of the launch, just keep the store open, okay? Or the whatever. Yeah, you'll obviously need to keep your sign-up page open, but please do this. Change the offer, okay? The offer has to change. It cannot be the same. It cannot be the sweet deal that you had during the launch, because if you keep it the same, you are going to train people that they really don't need to buy during a launch in the future, because you're just going to keep it open all the time anyway, okay? Seriously. So something has to go away. You have to keep your word, and whatever disappears has to disappear, and you can't change your mind on that, or things get a little dicey later for you, okay? All right, my final comment on this is experiment doing this in a private Facebook group. This is something else you can try. So I just gave you kind of the formula for a launch in general. But what I actually did last February was I did this very same thing, but I did it all in depth in a private pop-up Facebook group that was only around, how many, was it 30 days or 60 days? I can't remember. Whatever it was too long. I have an entire training on this in the video archives, and it's one of the first ones. So go down and look for it. And I walk you through, after I did it, I kind of did a video and talked about my strategy and how it worked. So the benefits of doing this in a private Facebook group. So here's how this would work. You would still do video trainings on your business fan page, because that's the only place you can run ads from, right? So you need to have content there. But don't give away the entire package. Don't give away all the content in the video training on the Facebook page. You would sort of tease it. You would give like one tip or 2 tips, and then you would say, if you want to learn more, your call to action changes. You would say, if you want to learn more and you really want to dive deep with me for the next 30 days, I'm going to be doing a private Facebook pop-up group. It's only going to be around for 30 days, and it's for people who want to learn more about CSA, and I'm going to take really good care of this audience. I'm going to be in there every day answering your questions. I'm going to be posting video content, all kinds of great stuff in here to really help you decide if CSA is right for you. And that becomes your call to action. If you want to be in that group, go to this website, sharelegacyfarms.com/pop-up, all right? And then they have to subscribe. They have to give you their email address. And then on the thank you page, or in the first email that they get, it gives them the link for the private Facebook group. And now you have a very targeted audience. You have an audience that is super hot. They have said, I want you to talk to me about this in depth. And then I would do the entire training of each of those videos the same day in the private group. So I would do a teaser on the main page, and then I would do hardcore in the private Facebook group. My conversion rate was awesome from that, and it's probably because I had nurtured this group of people in a very private space, and I didn't feel like weird. I felt like I was talking to people who actually wanted to hear it. So that is another way that you can use this strategy. It's a little bit trickier because you don't have quite the reach that you would have if you were on your main page, and you can't really advertise the same material quite the same way. But it's something to maybe think about. If you're more comfortable doing a video to, 50 people as opposed to your 2,000 fans, that might be a way to go. When I did the private Facebook group, pop-up group, I got about 120 people that were in that group for 30 days, or I think it was 60 days. That was too long. And I groomed those people, and I had a pretty good conversion rate. I go through all those details and results in that training video that I talked about, so check that out if you want to learn that variation of this strategy. Okay, download my freebie. Here I go with my call to action at the end of the video. You can get the ultimate checklist. This is what it looks like. Your ultimate copywriting checklist for your 3-week launch. All right, it's 2 pages. It talks you through all the stuff we went through today. In the upcoming weeks, I haven't decided which is coming first. Maybe you can tell me what you'd like to hear first. I'm going to do I'm going to do a topic all about diving deep into bonuses, how you can make an extraordinary bonus and position it well so that you drive sales. The other topic that's coming up is private Facebook pages, because I know a lot of you want details about that, and I'm going to do a really awesome job with that. I'm really excited to kind of tease that out. I'm actually creating a paid workshop for that. I'm going to do a lot of free content on the front, but I am going to do kind of a really deep dive training course that is really going to be good, and I'll offer that to you probably in a couple weeks. So just be aware that's coming, and if there are any questions before I go, please shout them out right now. Let me check my page. Let's see. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see if there are questions. They don't always show up on my phone in front of me. Come on, come on, come on. All right. It looks like I don't see any others. If I see some show up later, if you're watching the replay, just toss your question into the comments and I will get a notification. I will answer it. All right. Have a great weekend, you guys. Download that freebie. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.